It was 2:30 a.m., and I was lying in bed scrolling through my phone absent-mindedly, trying to distract myself from the restless unease that often crept in during late nights. The rain was softly pattering against the window, and the occasional headlights from passing cars cast fleeting shadows across my ceiling. Suddenly, my phone vibrated. It was a message from my best friend Rachel. We'd been friends since college, and now she worked as a nurse at the city hospital. Seeing her message at this hour filled me with a sudden unease, as if something was terribly wrong. She wrote, "Are you there? I'm really scared." I immediately sat up and replied, "What's wrong?" She texted back, "I think someone's following me." From the hospital all the way here, I've been hearing footsteps. They're right behind me. When I walk faster, they speed up. When I slow down, they do too. But every time I turn around, there's no one there. My fingers flew across the screen. "Where are you now? Should I call the police?" "Almost home," she replied. "Maybe I'm just being paranoid." Lately, I've been having these terrible nightmares, dreaming that I'm on duty in the morgue, and the bodies under the white sheets suddenly sit up. I remembered her telling me about that dream 3 days ago. She said she was alone in the dimly lit morgue during her night shift. The silence was so heavy that she could hear her own heartbeat. Then, out of nowhere, there was a rustling sound. She turned and saw one of the bodies sitting straight up, its face still covered by the pale sheet. The most terrifying part, she said, was that she knew who it was, Dr. Jang, who had taken his own life last month. He was a creep who had constantly harassed Rachel when he was alive, often engineering coincidences to bump into her in the hospital hallways. Even in death, it seemed he couldn't leave her alone. At the time, I reassured her that it was just work stress playing tricks on her mind, but she said she often felt like someone was watching her from the shadows, making her uneasy no matter where she went. 2 minutes later, Rachel sent another message. "I'm home. Thanks for chatting with me." Relieved, I typed back, "Get some rest." It felt like a weight had been lifted knowing she was home safe, though a nagging worry still lingered in the back of my mind. But before I could hit send, another message from her popped up. "Huh? Why is there water on the floor by the door?" Then came a photo. It showed a dimly lit hallway with a trail of wet footprints leading from the elevator to her apartment door. The water glistened eerily under the emergency lights. She quickly sent a voice message. Her voice trembled as she said, "Something's not right." "What's going on?" I typed frantically and then called her. My heart was pounding. Rachel picked up, her voice shaky. "On my way home just now. It wasn't raining, so why?" The call abruptly cut off. I immediately tried calling her back, but all I got was the cold tone of a busy line. Her messages went unanswered too. I thought maybe her phone had died. I managed to fall into a restless sleep, but when I woke up, I tried calling her again. No response. Desperate, I found her building's property management number online and called them. They assured me everything was fine, saying there had been no incidents. But I couldn't shake the unease, so I quickly got dressed and headed to her place. Her apartment was almost an hour away by car. On the way, I called the police, explaining the situation as seriously as I could. I told them I was certain my friend was in trouble. By the time I arrived, dawn was breaking and the police were already there. Her apartment door was wide open, the key still in the lock. Inside, everything was eerily tidy. There were no signs of a struggle. The bed was perfectly made, as if no one had slept in it. The building's security footage showed Rachel returning home at around 2:40 a.m. She entered the elevator alone, But what made my blood run cold was what the police found next. In the elevator footage, standing right behind her, was another figure. The person was wearing a white coat and had their head lowered. When the footage was zoomed in, the details became even more chilling. The coat was soaked, with dark, wet stains spreading across it, as if the person had just emerged from water. Water dripped steadily from their shoes. 3 days later, Rachel's body was found in the lake behind the hospital. The news hit me like a punch to the gut, leaving me breathless and numb. I couldn't reconcile the thought of my vibrant, smiling friend reduced to this grim fate. My mind raced, replaying every detail of our last conversation, searching for signs I had missed. Guilt and grief churned together, making it hard to even stand still. The autopsy revealed she had died before she sent that final message. Even more horrifying, the forensic team discovered that the chat logs on her phone had vanished. Yet when I checked my own phone, the entire conversation was still there. Just then, my phone vibrated again. It was a friend request from a stranger. The profile picture and name were identical to Rachel's. The photo showed her smiling brightly in her nurse's uniform. But when I looked closer, I noticed something chilling in the background of the picture. The faint outline of a body under a white sheet in the morgue. The verification message read, "Now I know who was following me that night." Panicking, I deleted the request and turned off my phone. But late that night, in the pitch darkness of my room, my phone screen lit up on its own. A new message appeared. It was an image. Hands trembling uncontrollably, I opened it, my breath hitching as a cold sweat broke out across my forehead. Each second felt stretched, my mind racing with dread of what I was about to see. It was a live feed from the hospital morgue's security camera. The camera was pointed at a body under a white sheet. In the flickering light, the figure under the sheet slowly sat up. A pale, bluish hand emerged, pulling the sheet back. Water dripped from its fingertips.